Studio is the Israeli Minister for Diaspora Affairs, Dr. Nachman Shai. Minister Shai, welcome to I-24 News.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
First of all, what can you tell us? We know that Israeli team of officials is in Moscow trying to hold talks with the Russians on the issue. Is there anything you can tell us about how those talks are going?
Not too much. It was mainly in the Moscow court. And we sent, as you said, a team of legal experts to deal with that, with the Russians. There was another meeting since then. The contacts and the negotiation continues, but mainly it's in court. And we have no idea what the Russians really want. I mean, to close down all the operations of the Jewish agency in Russia is something that we cannot agree and we will not accept. Of course, they can do it technically, but we will continue our relationship with the Jewish community there. This is our commitment as a state, as people, and we will find a way to 600,000 Jews who currently live in Russia, in the former Soviet Union.
Now, sources connected with the issue, one of them spoke with I-24 News, expressing concern about the Israeli government's position on the Jewish agency, worried that because Israel has such other pressing interests with Russia, especially the situation in Syria, that perhaps that could be a factor in perhaps Israel not support.
It is a factor, but let me tell you something about international diplomacy. There are values on the one hand and interests on the other hand, and you should balance between the two of them. You cannot just drop all your values because of your interests and vice versa. I believe that keeping the Jewish people together, united, able to run their life, I mean the Jewish community in Russia, safely, to run Jewish life is our commitment as a state. It's even now in the Israeli law, in the nation-state law. And we are supposed to keep it and honor it and take our position accordingly. Of course, I know the Russians are our neighbors on the north. The Russians are in the Middle East as a whole, and it's a major power, and so on and so on. I'm familiar with all that. But still, I believe that Israel, especially Israel of 2022, which is relatively strong and able and economically and militarily strong, to keep that value and to keep our relationship with the Jewish community there as close as possible.
Do you feel there will be a resolution? I mean, that Israel and Russia will be able to reach some kind of understanding?
Could you imagine earlier this year that Russia will invade Ukraine until February 24th? No. So you don't know what they want, and you cannot get into penetrate Putin's mind and figure out where they are. For years, Putin was regarded as a nice guy, at least when it comes to Israel, combating anti-Semitism and relatively maintaining friendly relations with Israel. And all suddenly turned over to whatever, not hostility, but this kind of tension between Russia and Israel.
All right. Another issue that you've been outspoken on as the Diaspora Affairs Minister is concerning the Western Wall Shrine in Jerusalem, especially the issue of holding non-Orthodox services or prayers there. We've seen actually a rise in disruption of those services by ultra-Orthodox elements. And of course, especially the American Jewish community has become increasingly concerned by this. Any chance we'll see any progress towards that so-called Western Wall agreement?
But let me tell you, in general, there was a huge breakthrough 10 days ago, not necessarily on the Kotel, but on the approach of Israel towards the three denominations.
Right.
And the breakthrough was that finally we established a directorate within the Ministry of Diaspora and Ministry of Affairs on renewed Judaism. We are now assisting financially scores of Israeli organizations dealing with renewed Judaism, how to approach Judaism differently in a way that can attract many more Israeli than just those who just follow the Orthodox way. And that's something that has never been done for the first time in Israeli history. It sounds dramatic, right? Those organizations will be assisted by the government. And so there's a message here. Also, we developed special projects with the reform and conservative movements in the United States and in Israel, and both ends of the ocean, working together towards continuing and building new relations and new projects. On the Kotel itself, no progress.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But we don't lose hope. Listen, our history is very long, and there's something. But I'm really very upset that we were not able to go forward on that very issue. But on other matters, I think the reform and conservative movements should be encouraged about what we have achieved.
Now, as a member of the government and a former spokesperson for the IDF in your long career, could you talk about the security situation, especially today? How concerned should Israelis, especially in the south, be about possible retribution from Islamic Jihad terrorists there?
But yes, we have to be tuned very well to the voices, the sound coming from Gaza. But at the same time, we have to continue our efforts to block terrorism and to foil any terror attacks from the West Bank. Now the major emphasizes on Jenin and the northern part of Samaria, Jenin and Nablus. That's what we have to do, and we do it every day and every night. We take the risk that something will happen around the border, but if we don't take those operations overnight, we may end up anyhow with another circle of violence that will erupt as a result of terror attack initiated from Gaza, from the West Bank into Israel. So this is an endless, kind of endless war against terror, and we are continuing our efforts and doing our best. Sometimes it costs the life of Israeli warriors, you know. That's how it is.
And finally, a word about politics. Of course, the Labour Party surprised a lot of. They actually re-elected a leader, I think, for the first time since the 1980s in Merav Michaeli, and now the party has primaries. That you were actually a bit of a surprise in the last primaries, I believe.
I came sixth last time. I was out of the country. I was living at Durham, North Carolina. It's the first time in Israel history that someone was running in primaries out of the country. Now I am here in the country. I'm doing everything I can to be re-elected, to be on the list as high as possible. And I believe that as a result of what I've been doing for quite a number of years, and especially the past year serving as a Minister of Diaspora Affairs, I can get the credit for
and do you think the Labour Party is going to emerge stronger in this? I
hope so very much. We are now doing not that well, but this is only the beginning of the election campaign, so we have another 3 months to go. And by the end of it, I hope we will even get more mandates that we have now, which is 7. So let's get 8 or 9 or even 10. Who knows? We keep trying.
All right. Well, we should see. Labour Party actually did turn out to be a bit of a surprise in the last election.
It will be a great surprise
when it got 7, and perhaps maybe a factor in the upcoming.
Miracles can happen. If miracles can happen, it's only here in the Holy Land.
And in Israeli politics.
That's very true.
Diaspora Affairs Minister Nachman Shai, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
24 News.
Thank you.